looking at this Nebraska game. It opened at an over-under of 43.5 and a minus 8.5 favorite for Nebraska. It has dropped a point on both. The total now is at 42.5, and Nebraska is favored by 7.5, meaning that there's been considerable amount of money going on that under and going on Illinois.
45, 40, 35, 40, he's gonna go! It's time people feel it!
Red Junkies.
Day by day, he gets better and better! We get better and better! Team is If we die, we die!
Man is pulling a child in that. Put him in the aisle.
Bring that trophy back to Lincoln!
All right, rolling into the game predictions. We've got Matt on the line joining us from the capital, Washington, D.C., right, Matt?
What's happening? Yes, sir. Well, just outside. I'm in McLean, Virginia, but nobody knows the fucking difference. So
yeah, nobody knows what that means.
It all runs together out there.
Yeah, where's their button? No one knows what that means.
Yeah,
no one knows what it means.
And you're back.
Not provocative.
You're back tomorrow, aren't you?
Well, technically Thursday, but I'll be back very late tomorrow. Yes.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, you'll be back for the game, so no worries.
That's what matters.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, that game is kicking off Friday night at 7 p.m. in Memorial Stadium. Coverage is on Fox. Already talked a little bit about the weather. It is supposed to be a little breezy. Wind gusts up to 27 miles an hour, it says, but game time weather is 82 degrees. I was there for the Northern Iowa game last week. It was fucking beautiful. It was probably 80 degrees out when the game kicked off, but we were in the shade, and it never felt hot at all.
I'm a little disappointed that the weather has changed because early in the week it talked about how it was going to storm for the entire game, and me and my youngest son Dale will be there, and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to sit in the stadium with him while it's just pouring ass rain and we're watching football. That would have been the fucking best.
It sounds a little wet, a little moist.
But sounds like the rain won't come until after midnight, so...
Well, I for one am happy that we're going to be able to see a weather that is going to be optimal for dynamic football.
I get it. I
want to see Raiola go.
I know, but I like these sloppy games too. So
Matt, you were almost perfect last week with Mr. Pessimistic on the picks, and you went a little bit that way again this week. I hope you're fucking wrong as shit, man.
Hey, I hope I'm just wrong on the ones that were on the pessimistic side. I felt like I was pretty middle of the road this week.
Maybe a little bit more middle of the road. But we're looking at this Nebraska game. It opened at an over-under of 43.5 and a minus 8.5 favorite for Nebraska. It has dropped a point on both. The total now is at 42.5, and Nebraska is favored by 7.5, meaning that there's been considerable amount of money going on that under and going on Illinois. Matt, what are you thinking about this game, man?
I think Illinois is having a pretty phenomenal year as far as Illinois standards go, at least under Brett Bielema so far. But I think they're going to have a bit of a rude awakening this week, and I think that 7.5 points is pretty generous. I'm definitely taking Nebraska with the points.
How bad do you think we're going to make Kansas look this week?
Well, Kansas can fuck right off. They're not good this year. And I bet I'm going to guess this is closer to a 20-point game for Nebraska.
I love it. You're going to go over then, I would guess?
I am going, would you say 48.5?
Yeah, 42.5. It's actually down there.
42.5. Yeah, then I'm definitely taking the over as well.
Yeah, they're looking at this as a defensive battle. It's interesting because yeah. Well, I go look at the props, like the game props, and the line for touchdowns is set at Nebraska at 2.5 and Illinois at 1.5. So I think that's interesting. I definitely don't see Illinois scoring more than one touchdown in this game. We didn't give it up to Shiloh or I guess Shador and Travis. So I don't think we're giving it up to any of them.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, Shador next door. Yeah, whatever. I'm with you, Matt. I think that this is going to be a bigger game than a lot of people are anticipating. If there's a fake ranked team in this atmosphere on Friday night, it might be both of us, but if I'm going to choose one to be fake, it's definitely going to be Illinois.
Shocker.
ESPN's Football Power Index has us at a 69.3% chance to win this game.
Nice.
That
nice
to
point
me,
three.
That to me doesn't suggest just one touchdown. So I'm definitely going over on this, especially if I'm getting it at 7.5. But I feel super comfortable with this being probably a 3-score win for us. They have the money line currently set at -320. That's you're not getting any value going on Nebraska money line this week. They don't think Illinois got much of a chance to win this game. Jared, what do you think?
I don't think that it's going to be a blowout by Nebraska.
I don't know necessarily a blowout. I think a minimum like 17-point dominant performance.
I don't think that it's going to be a dominant performance. I think that it could be a comfortable performance with a closer score, like kind of like one of those where we, maybe it's 14 points, but
we gave up a tutty at the end.
It just kind of seemed, you never really thought it was a 14-point game. It kind of felt more like a 21-point game. Both teams have played similar competition for this season so far. Both teams are scoring basically the same number of points and allowing basically the same number of points. Both teams have only given up 2 touchdowns on the entire season on defense. I see this as a very similar game to both. Yeah, Nebraska might have a little bit more high-powered offense, but Illinois just methodically does. We've talked about this for our entire show so far, how efficient Illinois has been this season. Again, not flashy, but just efficient. But Nebraska, it's the 400th consecutive sellout for Nebraska. Nebraska won the 100th consecutive sellout. They won the 200th consecutive sellout. They won the 300th consecutive sellout. That streak certainly is not ending this time on 400. So yes, we win the game. I'd probably take the over on the point total. But I think it's going to be, I would take the points for Nebraska and maybe put it at maybe 10 points. But I think this is going to be at least a decently competitive game for 2.5 to 3 quarters.
Do you think it goes over the 42.5?
Yeah, I'd take the over.
Yeah, I like that.
But both teams are averaging basically 32, 34 points per game. Yeah, I'm taking the over on that one.
I see this as like a 37-7 type game.
Oh, no, like I said, I think
that's
it's going to be
where
about
I'm
a
gonna be.
10-point game.
37-7, 37-10. That's where I'm going to be with this. All right. You heard it here.
4-0, here we come.
4-0, here we go.
And this may be the most unbelievable night in Cornhusker football history.